You wrote a book with the word crisis in it, and yet it was probably the most accessible DC comic to have come out in a long time. You somehow were able to capture the spirit of DC in this one book. How did you go about creating that?
The truth is, Identity Crisis was no different than any other novel I write, any of the TV shows like Jack and Bobby. It was all the same. Character, character, character. That's all it is. And to me, the reason you didn't read DC Comics is because you didn't relate to the characters, or you thought you didn't relate to the characters. So I wish I could say, you know, it was all me and it was all... I didn't. Superman is there. Batman is there. They're fantastic characters. Sadly, sometimes all you get to see is, you know, a guy punching another guy in the face, and that's not what Batman is. That's not what Superman is. They are characters that come from a great place of pathos and, you know, tortured souls and sensitivity and, you know, this rich history. So all I did was just try and suck it and pull it down to something that was a little bit more accessible. And the truth was, as I've said, it was really DC Comics said we want some, you know, we have a lot of guys who can do punching. You tend to do a lot of character work. So we do it to our characters. And of course, you know, as any good geek would, I jumped at the opportunity.
What was it like to get a call from DC Comics, you know, saying, you know, would you write this?
Since my very first novel, The 10th Justice, came out, I've been hiding comic book references in the books. So in that one, I had all the Supreme Court justices on the Supreme Court were named after the Watchmen. And in the next one, I had a law firm that was named Thomas Wayne, you know, and even more, I want to tell you them all because people like to still find them. And I thought no one's going to find this, and book after book they would find it. And so finally my fourth book comes out, and last person in line at the very first signing for The Millionaires is Bob Schreck, who says to me, listen, I want you to write Green Arrow for us. Will you do this? And I said, listen, I've been waiting my whole life for someone to ask me this question. Do not screw with me. Like, don't say it unless you mean it. And he's like, I mean it. And of course I was going to jump at it. And, you know, even now I'm going to be doing DC Universe 1, Last Will and Testament. I'm as excited now as I was then because, you know, the thing is America does not create a great many art forms in history. We gave the world jazz. That was a great Wednesday for us. But we gave the world the American comic book. We gave the world Superman, and that's American history. So to be a little teeny, even if it's a flick, on this great, beautiful, interwoven tapestry is just being a part of American history. I get to write Superman. I get to put words in Superman's mouth. And it's no coincidence why the new novel, The Book of Lies, is about the guy who murdered Jerry Siegel's father. It's just my love of these characters. I can't suppress it. I don't want to. I don't care. I've always been the one that, say it loud, say it proud. You love comics, say it. I don't care. I don't want to hide it. And that's the way it should always be.
In your new book, when you were doing research, you actually went to, I guess, the Mecca of Superman. You visited, you know, where he was born, where Superman was created. What was that like as a comic book fan to walk through that threshold and you know, be in that home?
You know, I love the way you describe it as the Mecca because, I mean, you know, listen, I don't care where you go. I don't care what you do. I don't care if you read Marvel or DC or Dark Horse or whatever it is you do. Man, this is the home where Superman was created. You know, it was created on Kimberly Street when a little kid named Jerry Siegel is sitting in his bed on a rainy night and bolts up in bed and says, I got an idea for a bulletproof man. And people think that it's because America is the greatest country on earth and World War II was coming and we needed help, but it's not. It's because Jerry Siegel's father was killed. And when Jerry Siegel's father was killed in a robbery, his son wished for a bulletproof man. And if you look at those early things of Superman, you know, Superman couldn't fly. He didn't have X-ray vision. He didn't have heat vision. He was bulletproof. And that's why the world got Superman, because this little boy lost his father. So I was determined if that's the reason, you got to go back to the house. And, you know, to go back to that house, to be in the bedroom where that young Jerry Siegel sat in that room, you know, would my father care about that room? No. Would most people care about that room? No. But if you said to me it's the #1 place in Cleveland or maybe most other places in the United States that I want to be, it is. And my love for that is that, you know, that's just always been there. I can't contain it. I can't control it. It just is part of me, and it makes me who I am. And so to go there and to see those places, again, that's American history.
So tell us, you're working on Buffy Season 8. How did that come about?
I wish I could say it came about in some great, fantastic way. It was the simplest way of all. Joss asked me, and only a fool says no to that one. So I trust me. There are things that get me. You know, the geek meter goes up and goes up and goes up, and then there's one that kind of pin it to the wall. And getting to write Buffy is certainly one of them. So I'll be writing toward the end of the run, but you'll see my stuff in there.